folks, Christy here with Just Saying with Cards, and I am going to show you how I've made this custom request for a happy Father's Day with the special word of pops on here with a popsicle. I'm using the stamp set that was in February's Paper Pumpkin. That is this here. Let's just turn this the right way, sorry. Has sentiments in it. You are so cool. Happy birthday. Way to go. And hey there. With a popsicle, watermelon, and some bubbles. So I'm just using this stamp set here. It's already on a block. Let's bring that card in so you can see all my bits. The letters are in Bermuda Bay and they are from the Playful Alphabet letters, die cut out and then adhere to the card. The Father's Day sentiment, it is from the Best Dad Ever stamp set. This is a long retired stamp set that I keep pretty much for that Father's Day sentiment. I like the font on all of the words there. So to get this card going, I'm just going to move it up and move you guys up to give me some more space. I started out with a layout that I liked, that I've used previously. So in a different video I shared that I keep all of my templates or layouts in an A5 size binder with some paper and my notes for future reference. So I pulled this one out because it worked really well with the size of the popsicle as the focal image here. It allowed me the spacing and it also fit my happy Father's Day stamp just across the top. This was originally made as a landscape card, but easily it can be flipped to be the other way and be portrait or vertical. So I'm going to show you the pieces that I've cut so far. This one is 4.5 by 3.25. Let's show you here. And that fits that there. I have noted underneath that it's layered on 4.75 by 3.5 black, but that really could just be any solid, so I've done it here in Blackberry Bliss. Under that I've got 5.25 by 4, shows that it's in Designer Series paper with the DSP, but we're going to make our own Designer Series paper. That then is going to go on a card sheet that is 5.5 by 4.25, scored at 4.25, and those all will go that way. Inside this card is just going to be a quarter sheet, which is 5.25 by 4 to go in there, giving a writing space. So first we're going to start with the focal image and stamp that. Now this stamp set only has one popsicle and I have two, and they're layered, so there's a technique and a trick in here. I haven't shown you the inks that I'm using besides what's here. So I'm using Bermuda Bay, Crushed Curry, Crumb Cake, and Blackberry Bliss. You'll see that 3 of these have reinforcements on them. I've mentioned this in previous videos, and I think everyone. It means to me that I have an accessory that goes with it, an embellishment of some sort, ribbon, buttons, sequins, twine, anything. It's just a reminder to me that that's there. So I'm first going to start by stamping the popsicle outline in Crumb Cake. So down. And I have it on a bit of an angle somewhere in the middle. Okay. But Christy, you have 2 of them. How do they overlap? Well, earlier, to make the original card, I stamped on a post-it note, mostly on the adhesive. So if you take your post-it notes and you stamp on this side where it's adhesive, very close to the edge, maximizing that. Then cut that image out. And I cut that image out slightly smaller than the final image, which allows for the depth of the paper not to impact and leave you with some blank spaces. So, and I've just realized my original card I had stamped off so that the the outline wasn't so dark. It still works. I've done it as well. Here's one using a different technique that I'm doing today, and you can still see the outline. It still works. So I'm going to take my sticky note and place it over the stamped image, masking that off. And then stamp this one where I want it to go. That gives me the layered effect, like that. And then I'll keep this sticky note as long as it stays sticky with the stamp set in the case so that I can use it next time. When the stickiness goes away, I make a new one. Alright, so there's those. I'm going to stamp the happy birthday in in Blackberry Bliss. This one fits really well diagonally across the ink pad. Next to me, which you guys can't see, is just a scrap of paper. And I want to make sure after inking this up that one, I have the image going the right direction, which I don't. Turn that around. And I want to make sure that I don't have any extra ink where there shouldn't be. So I'm going straight down, straight up, and dabbing. Sorry, I moved the camera. For now, I am just standing over this trying to line it up. I'm using the top border edge of the cardstock and the top of the stamp. Straight down, press and hold, straight up. Next up is the coloring of the popsicle. And I'll show you this one here and this one. Two different techniques are used. For the one on the right, I use the blender pen, which is where you grab some of the ink from the inside lid and color. And that slowly fades. It's really good for giving ombre effects, but I wanted a more consistent look, so I changed it up. And I went with Aqua Painter. So it just adds a little bit of water at a time. Same thing using the ink from the lid of the stamp, or the ink pad. I'm going to first go with crushed curry. You can see this one's quite messy. I've actually used reinker and dabbed it in on this one previously. I just haven't ever cleaned it out because that would be a waste of ink. So I'm moving the sheet of scrap in here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna, there's water in this, in the Aqua Painter, and it's adding water to the paper, which tells me one, it's clean, and how much water is there for two. So I'm just adding some ink in here to see how dark it is. Okay, so let's start at the top. This is not watercolor paper, so you want to work it as little as possible. If you go over too many times, the paper fibers start to break down. And that's good there for crushed curry. Just cleaning off, and now I have a clean Aqua Painter, and I can move on now to Blackberry Bliss. I'm skipping Bermuda Bay for a second, and it's not too big of a deal. I like it actually because it adds some realism, but you can see the Bermuda Bay bled into the crushed curry, and the same with the Blackberry Bliss. And that's okay because I think the flavors in a popsicle would do that, but I'm giving the paper some time to dry before I add more ink to it, ink and water. So just grabbing here, testing on the side, not much, picking up more, that's good. Okay. And you can always add more ink. It's nearly impossible to remove it. There we go. Okay. Let that dry. The colors will change a little bit as they dry, and that's fine. I'm cleaning off on the side, closing up the ink pad, and I'm going to bring in crumb cake now. Again, I've used reinkers previously, and I'm just adding some color. This is going to be about the lightest, also keeping in mind the ink that's on this cardstock will pick up, because it's water-based, it will help in adding color. Yep, there we go. It's going to be a bit darker. Good. And here. Good. A bit darker down here at the bottom. It's faded. Okay. So the Crushed Curry and Blackberry Bliss have had a second to dry. So I'm going to come in with Bermuda Bay. Picking up some color, see how much I get. And just adding that in. Okay, add some more color, go to the second one. There you are. There's that done. Okay, so I'm going to move these all out of the way and set this image, focal image, off to the side to dry a little bit. The paper's got some warping, it's a bit damp underneath, it just really needs some time to dry. So moving on to our next step, which is going to be pops. That's the next thing we have going here, is those letters. The letters, like I said, Playful Alphabet, and they are in Bermuda Bay, so I have some coordination. Getting all of this out of the side. Okay, I am bringing in my Stampin' Boss cut machine. It's a mini one, but it takes up some space. Here it is. Let's see if I can go higher. There you are. Okay. Here's something for you. This machine folds up, and it takes up very little room. This is a wood mount case, and it takes up about the same size as that. So when I store it, it's on a shelf, similar. Inside, I have all of the plates that go with it. So it's handy for me to keep everything in one place, and it's all there for me together. So I'm just going to unfold, and really easy. There's instructions on these plates if you're new to cutting and embossing through a machine or a device like this. So I need plate 1, plate 2, I need some cardstock, like I said, Bermuda Bay. And because these letters are fairly tiny and I didn't want to use typical adhesive, I have used a sheet or scraps of Stick It, which is available through Stampin' Up! As well. And it provides an adhesive layer. So I've removed one of these white sides, stuck it down to the cardstock, and now I can emboss, or I can cut the letters out, and they're going to have full adhesion to the back. Because they wanted to fly around on me last time, I just taped them together with some washi tape, and I can stick that washi tape down to the cardstock. Washi tape is Japanese paper tape, and it's generally temporary. So I'm just going to, I didn't want to roll. Where's my layer? Okay, layer 1, layer 2, cardstock with the dies, and plate 2 also on top. And for some reason, it's not going through. There we go. I'm trying at a different angle and it wasn't liking that. Okay, so I know that it's cracked kind of through, so I know that those letters are dyed. And just rolling it backwards. Don't need these anymore. So here we are. I can take off the letters. That is going to go back into my scrap pile. And underneath here are the letters that I just need to punch out. Using my take your pick tool and the pointy end, I'm going to put it into where the dots are. They're kind of a relief area that help the cardstock pop out a little bit. Same thing on the S, poke it through again, and I can lift it up. Poke it through there, and then just pop out. Poke, and I'm going to poke here too. Get that middle part of the O out, and the actual cardstock. Good. These also stay together now and they're bigger, so when they fall on the floor, I'll know where they are. Okay, this bit, I may just pause this video so that you don't have to see me struggle with trying to get the edge of these adhesive bits off. But just like any other adhesive, you want to maybe start on an edge or on a corner and try to get in there by folding one gently and separating the two, just separating the white backing. And that's that. I'll be right back. So after that bit of a delay, it didn't take too long, I was able to remove the backing of the letters POPS, P-O-P-S, and I have them currently facing up with the adhesive so they don't stick down to my silicone mat. Next I'm going to use a ruler, and this is 3 1/4, so I'm just going to move it over a little bit. And I'm using this just as my baseline of where the letters, kind of the bottoms, go to. And I'm going to start with the O. 5 1/2, as I have it now, is about the center. I'm not sticking it down. I am just placing these letters as I think they're going to stay. When I have a good placement, I will push them down so that that is their permanent location. But right now, if they just are placed, then I can still adjust them slightly. The S always messes me up. I never know which way it goes, but I think with this design, they are universal. See, I could move that O down a little bit. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to push them down. Remove the ruler. And then again, push them down. The adhesive that I had on the back gives them full adhesion better than I think if I could have done that with any other type of adhesive. Which reminds me I need more for when we're ready for that. Okay, moving you up again because we're going to set that aside. Move that. And we're going to make the designer series paper. So I need a scratch paper, bring in the one from previous, and this is the sheet of cardstock that is the layer after the card. So it's 5 1/4 by 4 on a scratch of paper. Bringing in Blackberry Bliss, the ink, I'm going to go around the outside and just stamp the popsicles. And there is absolutely no rhyme or reason how these go on. Just keeping in mind only a little bit of it will show. I don't even color these. I just want the outline image. Let's keep going with these upwards. You can do this with any stamp, making a background image. So designer series paper is completely custom to what the card is that you're working on. I have a little oops there, but that's okay, it's handmade. Alright. Close that up, set the ink and the stamp to the side. I am at the point of assembly. So I'm going to bring in my coffee filter and my Terran tape and get this going. So I like to start with the top working down towards the base. It's just something that I've always kind of done, so I'm going to continue. Terran tape for this, for me, goes all the way around all four sides on each layer. That will get put onto Blackberry Bliss. It gets put onto the designer series paper that we just made. Custom, coordinating. Okay. And one last layer of cardstock that needs to go with this card is the inside layer of basic white. This could be stamped. I could put a popsicle on it. You know what, I might just do that. I have it all out. Putting something on the inside also helps with the amount of printing or writing that you have available. So if I just dab, I need my sheet. Bring in that scrap again. There we are, a popsicle. And that again can stay uncolored. And let's set that to the side. Okay, so focal image, layers. Let's bring back the card. So Terran tape. And I've got my coffee filter to contain these strips. This, I did a Tuesday tip where I have the strips, these Terran tape strips just here in the coffee filter so that when they get full they go into the garbage, but they don't go all over the place in the meantime. My habit is to hold a corner of the cardstock while I'm planning where it goes, and I can still move it around until I push it into its final resting place. So I can make sure that all three corners match up. That tells me that the fourth one that I'm holding will be in a great spot. Put that down. Again, Terran tape comes off. And goes onto this one. I'm going to turn this one around because I've got a bit of a bloop there. I'm going to see if I can cover. Again, wiggling it to its final place. And see, you can't tell much of what's going on in the background because it's just the outline images. Removing this one. And it will go on Blackberry Bliss. So let's bring that in. Now, Blackberry Bliss has been scored in the middle, but I'm going to use that to my benefit. I'm going to move you up here. So, bringing it over, using my nail to line it up, make sure it's square. I don't trust that score line. It's a baseline of where the paper goes, but then my bone folder will put it into place, giving a nice crisp image. One more time. There we are, and flip. I score the back side because I find sometimes the bone folder leaves sheen or shine to the cardstock. So again, making sure my corners match and putting it down. Open and putting the inside. This one is one with the stamp. I could go back and stamp the original for the insert of this card if I wanted, or I can leave it completely blank. Having this pre-scored also helps me see where that score line is down there, so I get an even side. There's the one we just made and the original. I hope you like them. If you have questions on the products or techniques that I've used today, send me a message. Follow me on Facebook, Just Saying with Cards, or Instagram at Just Saying with Cards. And I am just saying thank you for watching.